Well, as we mentioned moments ago, Indigenous leaders wrapped up a 2-hour-long meeting with Pope Francis today. They gave the Pope a traditional cradle board to symbolize every Indigenous child who went to residential schools.
The Holy Father has now been tasked with the responsibility to care for this cradle board overnight and to reflect on the messages delivered by our delegates. If he is truthful in his commitment to the Indigenous peoples of Turtle Island, then he will follow through with our request to return the cradle board to our delegation at the general audience tomorrow.
Regional Chief Gerald Antoine is the Assembly of First Nations delegation lead. He was in the room meeting with Pope Francis. We reached him in Rome. Regional Chief Antoine, you had this 2-hour meeting with Pope Francis today. You're representing the hopes of survivors of residential schools, the feelings of their families. Tell me, what was that meeting like for you?
It was really something out of the ordinary. Certainly, it's something that as a person that is leading a delegation, I was really proud of our delegation. They were strong, they were truthful, and the voices, the tone, the volume had no fear. They were very positive, and they were very kind, and they were very articulate. And so I'd like to thank the delegation. These delegations are from First Nation representatives all over the regions from where we come from. There were residential school survivors, former residential school survivors. There was grandpas, parents, children, grandchildren. There was also leaders and spiritual advisors. And so I'm really thankful that we had a great family, a great team to be able to convey the messages of all the residential school survivors that are back home.
Tell me about one moment.
I'm so proud of our team.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, Chief, but I wondered, 2 hours and you talk about that big team. Tell me about one moment in it that really stood out for you.
I think the moment was that he was very perceptive. He was also very actively listening to each of the speakers, and also he has had time to reflect coming into the meeting, and the messages that he shared was positive and very sincere about the things that we went through. He certainly had done his homework. I'm really thankful that we had this extraordinary 2 hour with him, and so there are some positive things that have come out.
Tell me about that. Help me understand how a meeting about something so painful that you're describing it as positive.
Okay, well, despite our pain and the trauma that our people have endured, there comes an opportunity for change. And so the discussion that we had with Pope Francis and the responses that he had shared, it has also this effect in his response, and it really showed that he does care. And he also really advocated that our message were about children. It was about the former residential school. And so he also really felt that hurt and pain that we went through. And so we're very thankful that we had an opportunity.
Now there is going to be this public meeting tomorrow with representatives from various Indigenous delegations. What is it that you want to hear from the Pope tomorrow?
Well, there's something that we had given him just to keep overnight. It was a cradle board. And this is a cradle board that we use to be able to really embrace and also to really safeguard our children.
It's a bit like a baby
Something
carrier, a bit like sort of a cross between a baby carrier and a crib, if I understand correctly.
Well, something. I guess from your perspective, it would seem that way. But basically, as a cradle board, there's a flat board like this,
Yeah.
and then they also have these different the covering that comes around it like that. And so when it stands up like this, then the baby is in there, and it also has some straps that you could be able to also carry like this, and then it's really secured and really safe, and so when you hang it up eye level, it provides the opportunity for our children to see us at eye level, and this really symbolizes the equality and also the inclusion of, and also it really helps in the growth of our children. And so this cradle was given to him to keep overnight, and it symbolizes our children. And also we wanted him to look at this to reflect, because as human beings, we always have the tendency of like think about it. I'm gonna just take this and I'm just gonna get back to you on this. And so in this very symbolic gesture, at this divine moment, that he accepted that cradle, and that tomorrow, after the reflection, the way that he handles that cradle tonight, it will be a start of the way that he'll be starting to deal with us walking forward. And so today it's going to be special because we have our other relatives, the Inuit and the Métis, collectively as a large extended family. We're going to be coming together and to be able to receive the message that he's been thinking about overnight. So
we only have another moment.
Been very hopeful.
We only have another moment with you, Chief, but it's a very, I can imagine the powerful symbol of that cradle board. And so for people who will be listening here in Canada to the Pope tomorrow, for yourself and other members of the delegation, what is it that you need to hear from him tomorrow? The commitment to come to Canada, an apology, action on church doctrine. What will you be listening for tomorrow?
Well, certainly we all had really emphasized the need for an apology in our home and also with our families back home. And I'm sure that he will provide some information about the great possibility of him coming over to visit, to be able to share in his own words to our family the things that he needed to say.
Chief, we will certainly be listening. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about it today.
Yeah, I really thank you for that, because this is a day of truth. It's really important that all of us, we're all in this together, and we all need to start having the conversation to see how we could work together, how we could be able to move forward. And so we need to also begin this conversation. So with your help, you're doing this through this. So I'd like to thank you very much. Masi.
Thank you very much, Regional Chief Antoine.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.